Give it all a second to get in here. Fix my mic a little bit. Hopefully we're all doing well. So we'll spend about, I don't know, maybe like an hour tonight answering your questions. Hey, what's up? Here comes everyone. What's up, Preston? Hey, Abram. Hi, Ronald. Hi, Luke. Hi, Cyrus. Hello, Giants fan. And Ben. Wade, Luke. Hi, Mr. Gavin Koich. You're watching this in class, Giants fan. Little late night class, huh? Hi, Moses. Shout out to Bronson Owens. Don't I always give you a shout out, Bronson? Adrian, what's up? Hi, Keith. Thanks, Josh. I do coach a team. I coach Antonelli baseball. Hello, Henry. Hi, Jorge. Hello, Benjamin. So we'll give everyone a minute here to get in here. I have been in a brawl in a game, yep. Got any hitting tips? I got lots of hitting tips, Christopher. You gotta watch our YouTube channel. That's the whole channel is about hitting tips. Hi, Mason. Yeah, Frank Thomas was a great player. He shouldn't get overlooked. You're 12 years old and you play high school baseball? That's crazy. I've never heard of that before. Oh, nice. First offer. Congrats. I played for the Falmouth Commodores. Hey, John Madden's in the house. What's up? I've broken many wood bats. Yes, I've broken 2 in 1 at bat before. I have played Fresno in AAA a lot of times, yeah. I was pretty good in Little League. I have a video of answering that question, actually. I get asked that a lot. All right, so could everyone do me a favor? Could everyone like the video? Smash the like button, as they say. Could we all do that? We're going to try to get the likes up tonight. Get more people in here talking baseball. How do you throw a slurve? So a slurve is like a combination curveball slider. So depends a little bit on your arm slot. Sometimes certain arm slots make it easier to throw certain pitches. But if your curveball is going to be here and your slider is going to be more on the side of the ball here, then a slurve is going to be kind of in between those two pitches. Hey, thanks, Jose. I appreciate it. How do you sign up for youth baseball? You just got to go to, well, I'm not sure. I guess it depends on how your town runs things, but I know for us, you just go to the website of the youth organization that runs the league and sign up there. When is the glove going to be given away? Well, I'm giving everyone about a couple days to answer the question, and then I'll give it away. Laura, I don't think she wants to be shown tonight. So I don't tell people how to stride. I think there's a lot of different ways to stride. And so I think the biggest thing is being able to get loaded on time and be in a good, strong hitting position. And so if your stride doesn't allow you to do that, then maybe I'll work on a different stride. But I am not making a comeback, Joe, no. Yeah, tips on how to deaden the ball when bunting. A couple things. One, you can bunt it off the end of the bat. That'll deaden it. 2, you don't want to stab at it. And so you want to be soft and just think about catching the ball. I think about catching the ball off the end of the bat. Those are the biggest things for me. I did play in the MLB, yes. Mechanical adjustments. So there's a lot you can make. It depends on what you're doing, and it's hard to say that without saying it. Oh, without seeing you pitch. What's it like growing up in Mass? I mean, I haven't grown up in any other state, so it's hard to compare, but I've enjoyed, I mean, I really enjoyed growing up here. I wish it was a little warmer in the winter, but I played mostly second base. A good age to get your son started in baseball? Oh, I don't know. I mean, T-ball usually starts around like 5-ish or so. Not saying you have to start that early. Depends how much he likes it. My son started T-ball at 4, but he was asking to play all the time, so that's why we got him into it. I have tons of good tips for you too. If you want second base tips, go to the defensive playlist, or go to the playlist. Yeah, go to the defensive playlist, the infield playlist, I should say, on our page, and you can. There's tons of second base tips on there. So adding a curveball, so he can, as long as he throws it correctly. He's 12 years old, so our 12-year-olds, some of them will throw curveballs if they're throwing it correctly. And so, yeah, I think that you can add that. So I think that taking some time off of your arm is important. And, how much time should you take off? I don't know. But I do think that there should be a period of time where you're not throwing a baseball. Especially young players shouldn't be throwing probably all year round. So you can take, maybe a couple months off. Good morning, Scott. What age to start weight training? This is a really good question. Um, I'm not an expert in this area, but I think probably around like 14, 15 years old is probably a time when you can start to work out. You keep striking out, so if you're striking out a lot, it probably has something to do. It could be lots of things. Could be your pitch selection, could be your timing, could be your mechanics. I think it's a lot of times it has to do. This could be wrong because I've never seen you play, but a lot of times it has to do with your path. If you're consistently mishitting balls, if you're fouling off balls you feel like you should hit, and you're getting the two strikes a lot, and then it's hard to hit with two strikes, and you're striking out a lot, it probably has something to do with your bat path. So I don't have a favorite major league team. I cheer, I guess, for the Red Sox. I cheered for them big time when I was younger, and then I kind of stopped following them. Yeah, I think with the Yankees, I think the biggest thing for them and their pitching staff is health. So health is a tricky thing. Like Corey Kluber hasn't been healthy for a while. If he could stay healthy, yeah, that'd be huge. But it's hard to predict. Thoughts on the Camdeal? So I'm a huge Patriots fan, as you guys know, and I'll say this: I liked Cam last year. Obviously, it was not a great year. When I first heard that Cam signed, the first thing that came out, I think Adam Schefter put out Cam signed for 1 year, 14 million. I kind of threw up real quick. And then I realized that it's more of like, I think it's like 3.5 base salary, and then you have some incentives based on how much he plays. So you're going to get he's probably going to make around 5 million. And then it's another 9 million on other incentives that he didn't reach last year. And hopefully he reaches some of them this year. But hey, for $5 million, I don't think it's a bad deal. I was hoping that we traded for like Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson or maybe even Jimmy Garoppolo, but 60 time? What is that, Sam? I didn't see that. How to increase speed? So speed can get increased a couple ways. You can get faster by being stronger, more explosive, being able to produce more force. Also, your running technique, like anything, if your mechanics aren't solid, then you won't run very fast. and then just by running. Tips for a first baseman? Same thing. The tips question is always hard because like I could talk about first base play or second base play or shortstop forever. So I don't know what tips to give you because there's so many tips that you could get. So the tip I always give is go to our YouTube channel, which you're on, go to the infield playlist and go to our first baseman videos. And I have like, you could stay up all night watching tons of videos on first base play. Thoughts on long tossing? I like long tossing. I did it as a player. I always thought it helped my arm strength. Plyo ball warm-ups? Yeah, that's the same thing. We use some of those with our players. I think they're fine. No, we have not given the glove away yet. Oh, we have a super chat, everyone. Let's see what we have for super chat. Zach Kiffner, thank you so much for the super chat. How good do you think you'd be if you stayed healthy? Well, that's a great question. I don't know. I would assume I would be better than I was. The hardest part about getting injured, I've talked about this before, is, I mean, it's hard playing well when you're in pain. That's one thing. But I think maybe the biggest thing that being injured does is it doesn't allow you to practice very much. And so, you know, all the time that I was rehabbing from injuries, you know, if I'm in a cast for a broken hand or wrist surgery, well, other players are practicing and playing and getting better, and I'm not. So that's, I think, the biggest issue with getting hurt is that you're losing time developing, and players will, you know, you've got to work, you've got to practice to get better. So if you're injured, you can't. And so that's the hard part. I don't think you should model your swing after a particular player because you'd be modeling it just after. What most players do is they're like, oh, I want to swing like Albert Pujols or I want to swing like Ken Griffey Jr. or Mike Trout. And what they do is they're not so much copying what I call the core principles. They're copying like the style, things that don't really matter. And so I wouldn't try to copy any of those players. Evan, thank you so much for the super chat. What do you do when you had a teammate or one of your AB players today clearly not putting in 100% effort? So if I ever had a teammate that wasn't putting in 100% effort, I never really said anything. You know, I think at that point, like, we're all professional players, and I never felt like I was really in a position to comment on someone else's, how they're approaching their career. Now, as one of our Antonelli baseball players, if someone's not putting in very good effort, then I just tell them I don't think they're practicing or playing very well. And, you know, in the end, it's that player has to make a decision on how they want to approach the game. And, you know, if they really don't want to try, don't want to put an effort, then I can talk to them about it all I want, but they have to make the decision. If I think that a player, there's been plenty of players that we haven't invited back to play with us because I just didn't like the way they approach things. I didn't think they really cared. I mean, we want players to care. We want players to work hard. And sometimes players that don't can rub off on other players and kind of bring the entire atmosphere or change the atmosphere from what we're trying to go towards, you know. You're trying to establish a certain culture, and if people don't want to get on board, then I just let them go play somewhere else. We have another super chat, everyone. Jizzy, thanks so much for the super chat. Would you recommend going college route if you get drafted in the last few rounds, or stick with the pros? So I would say every person's different, and you know, there's a lot that goes into it when it comes to the draft. Sometimes it comes down to money. Sometimes it comes down to players that certain people just don't want to go to college. They can't do college, and so I've seen players get drafted anywhere and just go to the draft, go pro, because they're like, I can't do college. So again, there's a lot of variables, but I can only tell you kind of what I was thinking, and my thought was when I got drafted, essentially my signing bonus had to be like change my life essentially. And if it didn't, then I was going to go to college. So out of high school, I got drafted, and my signing bonus would not have changed my life. You are boring. Well, Harrison, good news for you. There's like 1 million YouTube channels in the world, so you can go watch one of theirs, someone else's. Sorry you feel that way. And so now I lost my thought. All right, Harrison, now you've really made me mad because now you're annoying me. So um, let's just put you in timeout. See you, Harrison. Beat it. Okay. So now I totally lost my train of thought, Harrison. Sorry, guys. I have no idea what I was talking about now. Harrison made me mad. Can anyone remind me what the hell I was talking about? um, I do like the Celtics, yes. Am I easily rattled? No, but Harrison was making me mad. Oh yeah, college. That's what it was. And so life-changing money. Yeah, so when I was drafted out of high school, I did not receive what I would consider a life-changing signing bonus. So I went to college, and and then luckily after my junior year, I was offered what I would consider life-changing signing bonus. So I decided to go play pro ball. Um, would I have liked to gone and played pro out of high school? Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to play professional baseball, but um, those were the things. Hey, thanks, Chris. Those are the things that I was kind of weighing. Jack. I always find that funny. Actually, let's go off. Let's really let Harrison just take us off topic here. So I always find that funny. Like Harrison showed up and he said that I was boring. He might just be saying that because he wants me to, make a comment about him. Um, but I always find that funny. Some people will come on my YouTube channel on the videos and be like, "Your videos stink, man. Like, these are terrible." And I always think like, then why are you watching them? And why are you commenting? There's so many other people out there. Why would you waste your time if you think that all these are bad? But they'll like watch all my videos. They'll comment on all of them. I'm like, this is very strange. Hey, thanks, Byron. I appreciate that. You subscribing. What do the Celtics need? The Celtics need. Now, I haven't watched the Celtics in the last. Well, they've been on an All-Star break, but I've missed a good amount of games because I've been so busy this month. I mean, I've wanted them to get some type of. I think they need a defensive presence, a big guy with a defensive presence, someone that can rebound, someone that can protect the hoop a little bit. That's what I would really like. That might sound like old school basketball, but that's what I want. Mark Ware, thank you so much for the super chat. Have you ever heard of Alex Costa? Alex Costa. I don't think I have. Who's Alex Costa? Aiden, thank you so much for the super chat. Ever been inside Yankee Stadium? Unfortunately, I've never been inside Yankee Stadium. I drove by it when I had to go see the Yankees doctor, but I'd never been inside it. Rudy Gobert to the Celtics. So I was hoping for that in the offseason. I would love Rudy Gobert. I think most teams would like Rudy Gobert, but I don't think he's going to end up with the Celtics. I used the Louisville Slugger C271. All right, everybody. I'm going to ask a request again. Can everyone smash the like button? Let's get up to like 150 likes right here. Hey, thank you so much. How did I keep on weight in the pros? You got to eat a lot. So I lose a lot of weight during the season. I lose a lot of weight just, I mean, my wife was yelling at me tonight because I ate a Five Guys burger and a large fry and like 17 cookies, and I don't really work out much, and I just don't put on weight. It's hard for me to put on weight, so. But in order for me to put on weight during the season, I have to eat a lot of food. Like I have to consciously keep eating. Hey, Joe S., thank you so much for the super chat. Love your videos. My son Peyton is 8 and plays Little League. He loves hearing your stories. Thanks, Joe. Good luck to Peyton this year. Is there any diet in the pros? So there's no like diet that they make you go on. Certain players may be on a diet, but there's no, you can eat whatever you want. Like when I was in the minor leagues, I ate McDonald's and Burger King and Five Guys and Panda Express like every day. I had the worst diet of all time. And I had like no body fat. So, high school baseball or travel baseball? Well, I think both are important. Not a ton of recruiting goes on during the high school season because colleges are playing during that time. But I think it'd be unfair, and I think it would be silly to say that the high school season doesn't matter. I think there's a lot of development that goes on in the high school season. I think college coaches they're going to call your high school coach to get more information on you. So some people are like, oh, high school doesn't matter. I think that's silly. And plus, high school baseball is just fun. At least for me, it was. Axe handle. I'd never used an axe handle. It wasn't really popular when I played, but I can see the, I don't know, the merit behind it, I guess. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but I've swung a few, like with our players swing them, and so I'll mess around with it, and I like the feel of it. In-N-Out or Chick-fil-A, is that what it said? I mean, Chick-fil-A is awesome, but In-N-Out's pretty good too. I love Chick-fil-A though. There's no In-N-Outs in Massachusetts or anywhere around here, so I only really eat In-N-Out when I was playing. Dangerous, when I played with the Padres in spring training, there was an In-N-Out right next to the field. I eat there every day. This is your last year of Little League. What should you expect next year? Well, the field will get bigger, but the game doesn't really change very much. 13-year-old year is, going on the big field, the game does change a little. 13-year-old year is a weird year of baseball, but I like Alex Verdugo's swing. Playing inside versus outside, do players care? Do you mean like playing in a dome versus not in a dome? I mean, I always want to play wherever it's warmest, so I do not fish. Bellinger or Seager? Oh man, both are studs. I mean, Bellinger 2 years ago was unbelievable. Was it 2 years ago? I mean, he could come out this year and I mean, he has the ability to be like an MVP type player. Seager's amazing too. These questions are going so fast. Yeah, 12 to 13-year-old is a big step. Yep. You don't have to play travel to get noticed by colleges. There's a lot of ways to get in front of colleges. Like tournaments are one way, but showcases, college camps, those are also ways to get in front of them. I like Pancake Glove Trainer. I think it's important to work on the skill of being able to field the ball. Any ball within the frame of your body is going to be a two-handed play typically, and so being able to get the ball at the same point of the glove, we call it like getting it off the index finger, and working on getting a clean transfer from glove to hand, and that's what the Pancake Glove works on. But you also need to work on balls outside of your framework of your body, so one-handed plays. So don't just do Pancake Glove. College recruiting advice. Be proactive. I mean, this is another topic I could talk forever on. I actually have a playlist on our channel, on our YouTube channel, on college recruiting. I'd go watch those videos tonight. Maybe when you get off of here and you're going to go to bed, just listen to a bunch of them. But big ones are be proactive. A lot of players think they just can sit back and wait for colleges to come after them. But that's for like the 1% maybe of the best players in the country. So most players have to be really proactive. Pancakes or waffles, man, they're both really good. I love breakfast. Going out and eating breakfast at like a diner or something is like one of my favorite things. One of my favorite meals. Wow, there was just 1,000 questions that just went by quick. Switch hitter, should you have a different bat? You don't need a different bat. No, you can use the same one. Best way to develop baseball IQ for 11U. Well, one way is to play the game. Two is try to replicate some of those situations in practice. You can get a lot more in practice than, in games because you can get a lot more reps in. So I would do a lot of situational stuff, have live base runners, and just go through different situations over and over again, get the players thinking, get them, the more situations they see, the better they're going to get at reacting to them. Do I think it's all right for a 13-year-old to play 18U? I would say in most cases, no. I mean, I don't know, unless he's like the most special 13U player of all time. But, like if we put our 13Us against our 18Us, it would be like I mean, it wouldn't be fair. There's no way they would hit them. And we got guys that are 17 on our team throwing 90 plus miles an hour. There's not many 13-year-olds that can do that. And I wouldn't feel safe. I wouldn't feel like it'd be safe for them to do it. I do still have that Nike glove. I do. Hey, what's going on? I love turf fields, yeah. Turf fields are my favorite. I like turf fields because there's no maintenance. I don't have to rake the dirt. I don't have to water the grass. I don't have to do any of that stuff. A bad baseball habit? I don't think so. Can you use football cleats in baseball? It probably depends on the league you're in. Wow, that's all fast questions. Turf fields wreck knees, though. Maybe. I don't know. I played on a turf field a lot. One thing I noticed with playing on turf fields is my back would hurt after a while, more than on grass fields. So it definitely does beat your body up a little. It's a little bit harder, but as a coach, I love turf fields. Best team in the AL. Well, I think if the Yankees can stay healthy on the mound, they can be the best team. I think I like the White Sox a lot. Also, I don't really have a favorite team in the MLB. Is hitting or fielding more important? Well, I think both are important, but hitting will probably get you noticed more. But in order to play at a high level, you have to be able to field. All right, everyone, we got a couple of super chats coming through. I'm not sure how to say that. Say six act. Thank you so much for the super chat. In and out is overrated. Yeah, so some people do think that. I haven't had it in a long time, but I was a big fan of In and Out. Laura's standing here saying Five Guys. She heard us talking about burgers and ran over. I already told you guys we ate Five Guys tonight. Mike W, thank you so much for the super chat. What do you think the changes to the MLB will have, if any, on development of players in years to come? Oh, to the MILB. Sorry about that. Okay, so I know that the minor leagues are putting in a bunch of changes. I know that they got rid of some minor league levels. There's also a lot of changes going to happen. I'm actually going to make a video on this. I just got all the changes, but I haven't read through all of them yet, so I'm sorry I can't really give you a good answer. But I am putting a YouTube video up in the next few days. I'm going to go over all the changes that I've recently heard. I think as far as like the less teams, I don't think it'll have a huge impact. I think there's so many players in the minor leagues. There's a lot of guys in the minor leagues that were just kind of like filler players, almost organizational players. They're probably never going to have a chance to get to the big leagues. So dropping a few teams, I don't think is going to cause too much of a change. But I've got to get through the other changes that were made because I'm not sure on all of them. Trey Alexander, thank you so much for the super chat, Trey. Opinion on the minor league new rules, especially the bigger bags and only 3 pickup attempts. So those were, I have not gone through all of them. The bigger bags, I heard someone talking about that, but I haven't read that one yet. I'm going to have to. And then only 3 pickoff attempts. Wait a minute. So you can only pick off 3 times? I haven't seen that. This is why I got to make that video. Well, that's kind of silly. If you can only pick off 3 times, and after you pick off, then you almost can't pick off 3 times, because after you pick off 3 times, the runner, what do? They just take off? I don't understand that. I'm going to have to do more research on this. So it's hard to get noticed just playing high school baseball because colleges can't recruit very heavily during high school season because they're playing. Culp friction, you really are interested in that, but I can't say I have. Is Bumgarner in my current top 10? No, I don't think so. Bat size for a 12-year-old, well, it depends how big he is, but I would say for a 12-year-old, you're probably looking at like a 30-inch bat or so. But again, it depends how big they are. Red Sox are looking a little better this year, but they still got a ways to go. Can you play D2 as a first baseman with 88 exit velocity? Yeah, sure you can. My favorite baseball movie is probably Major League. I love Major League. Freddie Freeman, he's amazing. He's top player in the league, one of the top players in the league. What drop of a bat? Our 12-year-olds have what, drop 10s, I think. I've never faced a switch pitcher before, no. I've seen a switch pitcher, but never faced him. Jared Schroeder, thank you so much for the super chat, Jared. What is your take on the MLB allowing batters to look at video this year in between innings, but blurring out the catcher's signs in the video? Wow, I haven't heard of this either. I'm really falling behind on all this news. I think that's fine. So, I mean, what hitters want to look for is, I mean, they want to look at how pitchers attack them. And so, yeah, you want to blur out the signs? Blur out the signs. That's fine. My favorite division of baseball to play, and probably Little League. I think most of my memories are from Little League. I pitched all the way through high school. I was just asked a few minutes ago about those rules in the minor leagues. I have to go through all the rules. I haven't read them all yet. Best injury prevention advice. I would say make sure that you're just taking care of your body. Make sure that you're properly warming up and cooling down. And it's probably the best advice I have for you. How do you be a good second baseman? Well, I transitioned to second base during my professional career. I think you just have to get a lot of reps. If you're in practice, treat it like it's a game. But I think any position comes down to, in practice, trying to get as many balls, as many game-like balls as possible. Being able to field every ball that you possibly could be asked to field in a game. If you can do that in practice, then game will be easier. We have a super chat. Grinch Bag. Thank you so much for super chat. Matt, shake and bake. Great movie. And yeah. Did I ever have any arm trouble? Not really. I had tendonitis once in my arm. But I used to get sore like right here a lot. Not a lot, but every spring training and sometimes during the season. But nothing major. Thoughts on one knee catching stance? So I don't have a problem with it. I'm not an expert in catching, but I know pretty much almost all major league catchers are now going to the one knee style. And so it seems like they're all doing fine. I know people will say like, oh, you can't throw a runner out or you can't block from there, but I don't know. It seems like they're doing okay with it. Was it the farm director that determined what level whether you be promoted or not? So I'm not sure exactly who does that. I'm assuming that they're one of the main people, and then when it comes to the big leagues, I'm sure it's probably an organizational decision with a bunch of different people's input, whether it's the manager of the big league team, the GM, the farm director. Middle school ball on 90-foot bases. I think that 90-foot bases for 13-year-olds is really tough. For 14s, it seems okay, but 13 is a really tough level. I coached our 13-year-old team last year. It's just kind of like a boring brand of baseball because A lot of players aren't big enough yet to be able to play on the 90-foot field, on 90-foot bases. Mookie for MVP, maybe. He's always in the running. Best way to get arm strength back is really to just play to throw. To play catch to throw. I like to play long toss, but like with anything, I think if you want to get your arm strength back, you just got to throw. All right, everyone, we got to get to 200 likes. Everyone, could you all please, if you have not already, smash the like button. Get us up to 200 likes. That'd be terrific. How do you work on seeing the baseball better at the plate? So, I mean, during your at-bat, you're going to try to find the pitcher's release point and try to pick the ball up as early as possible. But I think even more than that, I think you need to train yourself on, hey, there we go. Thank you, everyone. Got over 200 likes. You have to train yourself on picking up the baseball, picking up different spin, picking up different small little things that you might not even realize you're picking up. And you do that through whether it's watching, bullpens, so standing in bullpens and watching pitchers throw, but finding a way to see pitchers throw different pitches, and just being able to kind of see different shapes of pitches and all that. The more you see it, the more you're able to quickly pick up those differences in a game. We have a super chat. Peter Starzinski Tech. Thank you so much, Peter. Video game Matt would be the kind of guy who hits a moonshot, then asks the pitcher, "How's your wife and my kids?" Yes, he would be that type of guy. And that's one of my favorite lines from Major League. Do you agree with 12-year-olds swing and drop threes? I mean, that seems pretty heavy to me, but maybe it's a big, huge 12-year-old. Nomar Rodriguez, thank you so much for the super chat. There's no question there. Hopefully, not sure if you asked one or not, but there is no question underneath your super chat. Do I sign through the mail? I do. I usually have people send it to where we work out. And so you can go online and find that. Actually, if you go to AntonelliBaseball.com, you can see where we work out. St. John's Prep average exit velocity, is that what that just said? I have no idea. I would say, we have a lot of St. John's Prep guys on our Antonelli baseball teams. Hello, David. And so if you look at like our 17-year-old team, which is a lot of prep guys, let's just say, again, it depends on whether you're doing it off a tee or a game or a machine or BP or whatever. I would say most of the guys are probably in the 90s somewhere off of our pitching machine that we hit off of with Rapsodo. I've been to Needham, Massachusetts a lot. Yeah, I used to train in Needham. Open up your pitching stances, you'll pick up the ball better. Do you mean your hitting stance? Scared of getting hit by the pitch. Let me just move this camera up a little bit, guys. So, yeah, this is a tough one. I get asked this a lot. Like, what do I do if I'm scared of getting hit? I've never had that issue, so it's hard to give advice on this. I think maybe, I'm just trying to think of ways that you can feel better. Hit it first. Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. Coach would be like, "Hey, I'm not going to hit you. It's not going to hurt you. Just stand in there." And that's easy said. But, if you're afraid of it, it's like if I'm afraid of spiders and you just say, "Well, I'm not afraid of spiders. It's just a little hairy animal. It's not going to bother you." Like, I still don't want to mess with spiders. I hate spiders. So I don't know. I mean, I think that you have to work your way up. And One way is to learn how to get hit by a pitch. It might sound weird, but to learn how to properly get hit by a pitch, because it is part of the game. And sometimes kids that are kind of scared, they want to bail out this way, and now their face and their body is exposed versus just turning and wearing it off the arm. So I think that's probably one thing you can do. You can get an Evo Shield. They do make more protective equipment now. And then maybe work your way up. Maybe use a softer ball to get comfortable. One thing my dad always does at our practices is he'll, whether we're doing like short overhand toss, or he doesn't do it in BP, but usually like short overhand toss, he'll throw a ball at a guy. It's just coming in nice and easy, but he'll throw one at the hitter sometimes and hit them just to get them to work on just kind of turning in like this. And so hopefully that helps you out. I have a super chat in here somewhere. Peter Starzinski Tech, thank you again for the super chat. Who do you see winning the NL Central? This is a good question. Didn't seem like anyone really wants to win the NL Central, but I'll go with the Cardinals. They get Arenado, who's obviously a top player in the game, which should really help. SJP pitching velo. Depends on the year. Last year, if there was no COVID, our pitching staff at St. John's was pretty crazy. I think we had, I don't know how many Division I players we had, but we had a lot of them. Who would have been, I don't know. I had did we have 4 or 5 D1 arms or something like that, I think. I would say most of the guys were throwing like in the mid 80s to a couple guys will be in the 90s. Give the kid $1 every time he gets hit. Sorry, but when these questions are going so fast, I can't read any of them. Does constant encouragement, chatter in between pitches help motivate or distract the pitcher? I think it depends on the pitcher. Some pitchers don't, some pitchers don't react well to chatter from the bench. Some enjoy it and they pitch better. So it really depends. But I've definitely seen some pitchers that start to just crumble on the mound when the opposing team gets on them a little bit. Greg, thank you so much for the super chat. Went to Texas A&M versus Samford today. Lopsided game, but was great to get to the park. Are you following the college game these days? Thanks, Greg. I am following the college game, not super closely, but I'm following teams that I like Boston College and Wake Forest. I'm also following our ex-players, so we have a lot of guys playing at Bryant. We have guys playing everywhere, and so I try to follow our players more than I do just like teams. What players weren't good in high school but made it to the majors? That's a good question. Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I do think it's a misconception to think that every major league player was like amazing in high school. Now most of them are pretty good, but there's certain players that develop later. So maybe they were small or slower. Usually it's a small thing, like a physical thing. They're not physically mature yet in high school, so maybe they were a little smaller, a little slower, a little weaker. And then they started to improve as they got older. Abraham, thank you so much for the super chat. What's up, Matt? Nothing. What's up, Abraham? Last time you talked about you invested your money. Mind saying what you invested into? What's the reason you invested into Bitcoin? So I've invested into, I started investing basically shortly after becoming a professional. I didn't have any money to invest before then. When I first got invested, it was in 2000, I was drafted in 2006. I would say I probably invested in, basically when the market crashed. What was that, 2007, 2008, somewhere around there? So at first I just bought like big companies that I thought were going to be around for a long time, like big blue chip companies. And that did pretty well for me because, the reason I did is because I didn't want to invest in anything that was going to go under at that time. And my biggest holdings, right, like my biggest stock by far is Apple. my second biggest is Tesla. And then my third biggest is probably Bitcoin at this point. Now, Bitcoin is probably tied with like a bunch of other companies. So why did I invest in Bitcoin? I invested in Bitcoin when I first invested in it. I don't know why. I do have Bitcoin, yeah. So a little bit, I guess, because of inflation and don't buy individual stocks. You can definitely buy index funds. I mean, I've been really successful in investing in individual stocks. I mean, I bought Apple back about, I'd have to look at my thing. I mean, I've made, I think, 800% on Apple. And on Tesla, I've made 700%, something like that. So I agree that basically what I did was I invested in a bunch of stocks, but then there were certain stocks that I was very confident in, Apple being one, Tesla being another. So how do you overcome the fear of dropping a pop fly? This is a great question. I would so much rather a ball be hit on the ground to me than in the air. And I dropped one of my first fly balls as a professional. Well, the first fly ball I ever dropped as a professional was in Lake Elsinore. I was on Lake Elsinore, and it was in this. I lost in the sun, and I dropped it, and that wasn't a big deal. The coach was, our manager wasn't mad at me. He told me I didn't have glasses on, and he said the next time you drop a fly ball in the sun without glasses on, it's a $100 fine. So I put glasses on. But the first time I ever dropped a pop up, other than being lost in the sun, was Chris Davis from the Orioles. He was with the Rangers at this point. This was before he went over the Orioles. He hit me the highest fly ball of all time, and I dropped it. The ball was hit. I'm going to get that super chat 1 second. The ball was hit so high that it looked, it looked that big in the sky. I looked up into the night sky, and I was like, I don't even see this ball. I'm like, it looks like a little star way up in the sky. And that thing came down and went over my head, and I missed it. It was in the air for like 30 seconds, it felt like. And after I missed that ball, I'll tell you what, like, next bunch of times the ball went up in the air, I did not want to catch it. Now, I never dropped another one, but man, I was scared almost every time the ball went up. Let's see a super chat real quick. And actually, I'll tell you one more story in a second. Wow, I have so many questions. I lost the last super chat. Can anyone can anyone see the last super chat? I can't see it on my phone. Would someone mind, oh wait, let's do Trey Alexander's first, and then you guys can put the super chat up. Thank you, Trey. When do you think they'll throw Jason Dominguez in the league? Could he be brought up earlier than Tatis? I'm just not really sure why they're waiting. At least spring training, I would think. So you're saying when will they bring Jason Dominguez up to like in the regular season in the big leagues? Yeah, I don't think they're gonna rush him for a bunch of reasons. I mean, one reason is he is very young and he missed a lot of time because of COVID, and so they're not gonna. There's a big difference between wherever he was playing before and the big leagues, and so. Yeah, I don't think there's any rush to bring him up. The last thing they want to do is bring a guy up before he's ready. Now, maybe you could say, well, he could be ready, but I just don't think he's going to be ready. Like I said, there's a big jump from where he's played and then playing in the big leagues. But I'm excited to watch him when he finally does get called up. Nick Rinaldi, thank you so much for the super chat, Nick. How have I been doing behind the plate? I haven't seen you behind the plate, Nick. You've been behind the plate? When were you behind the plate? Were you behind the plate last practice? Because I think I might have missed your last practice. No, I think I was there. So I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, super chat was, what's up, Matt? Last time you talked about how you were saying you invested in... Oh, yeah, I already answered that one. Was there another one? It was Nick saying he is doing better behind the plate. Oh, good job, Nick. Even though I still don't remember you being behind the plate. Another super chat from Tom. Thank you, Tom, but there's no question there. Maybe you're just giving a super chat. Thank you, I appreciate it. Oh, my dad's, I just got a thing that my dad's commenting on my Instagram. So my dad today got hit in the face with a ball that was hit 95 miles an hour. It hit off the net and then hit him right here in the cheek. So luckily the net kind of slowed it down a little bit. I put it up on Instagram and everyone was like freaking out. My favorite part about Instagram is when everyone becomes an expert even though nobody was there to witness it. And everyone's screaming, pay attention, learn how to be in a cage, like, Whey, you should, like, know better and all that stuff. We've literally been in batting cages for like 40 hours a week for the last, I don't know how many months, so. Everybody's an expert, though. Will there ever be a net on the mound? I don't believe so. Do I collect anything? Yeah, I collect cards. Do I think it's dangerous to pitch? Well, throwing is inherently kind of dangerous, I guess, on your arm. It's not great for your arm, but I don't think pitching is dangerous, really. Adley Rushman, I think he's going to be really good. Blaze Jordan, I think he has a ton of talent. I'm interested to follow him and see how he does. Cam Newton signing, I talked about it earlier, but I don't mind the signing. I was hoping for something. I was really hoping for Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson. I knew that wasn't probably going to happen either way. I was actually kind of hoping for a Jimmy Garoppolo trade. I like Jimmy Garoppolo. But, I don't know, maybe Cam, maybe another year under his belt and a full off season and hopefully some more weapons. I'd like to get him some more offensive weapons, a tight end and a number one wide receiver would be great. Best throwing workouts in the weight room. Bye, Christopher. I don't know if there's a special workout in the weight room, but I think just getting stronger, just your total body being stronger. Tom Brady back, that'd be great, but not happening. Is it okay to start baseball in high school? Sure. Didn't Lorenzo Cain start baseball in high school? Is it dangerous to get hit in the face while pitching? Yes, it is. Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat? I played both as a kid. Haven't played either in a long time. They're both great games. I don't really know. I was never huge into either, but I played them both. All right, everyone. One more time I'll ask. Can everybody hit the like button? Let's see if we can get the 300 likes. We got 244 likes right now, so could we get to 300 likes? We've got 200 people basically in here. Could we get to 300? Saw a guy bunt with his teeth. That wouldn't feel good. The best player in the Dodgers, I would say Mookie Betts. What does tendonitis feel like? So I've had tendonitis in my shoulder. And I guess depending on how bad it is, I mean, I've had it to a point where I threw and got a really sharp pain every time I threw. So it can hurt. I do not collect magic cards. I collect sports cards. Is Trevor Bauer going to repeat the Cy Young this year? Well, I would say the odds would be against that, but he's always trying to get better, and so sure, why not? Can freshmen make varsity at St. John's Prep? It is hard to do that. I would say most times they're not going to put a freshman on varsity because it's hard, unless they're going to start, and to start on varsity as a freshman there is very hard, but it's happened before, so I'm not going to say it's impossible. I have been to St. Louis. Best baseball memory as a kid? I've had a lot of them. I don't know which one I want to pick. Probably either winning the Little League championship or maybe my first home run. Marco Jepson, thank you so much for Super Chat. How old were you when you got your first girlfriend? My first girlfriend? I don't remember how old I was. I would say like my first like real girlfriend would probably be freshman year of high school, I would say. 9. Do I still talk to her? I do not. What teams do I think will be in last place? The Rockies will probably have a hard, tough year. Pirates probably won't have a great year. Orioles probably won't have a great year. Clubhouse drama. There was very, very little clubhouse drama. If a freshman at St. John's Prep threw 85, will he make varsity? Well, yeah, he could. He'd have to be able to throw strikes and stuff. I mean, he might if he throws 85, but it's all over the place. They might not put him on varsity because we're gonna have a lot of guys that throw strikes. But the future of the NL avoiding the DH. I don't know. It seems like it's gonna be eventually a DH in both leagues, which I don't mind. I personally don't. I personally like the DH, but Tom, thank you so much for Super Chat again. Do you watch the Baseball Bat Bros? Please go on and hit some balls with them or take BP on the big field. Would be fun to watch you openly hit. So I do watch their stuff, and they actually reached out to me about trying to get out there and hit with them, and I have not been able to figure out how to do that. I don't know how I would do that because I'd have to they're out in the West Coast, and right now I get baseball 7 days a week. I can't really leave with all the stuff we have going on right now, so I'm not sure how I would do it. But Emery, thanks so much for the Super Chat. Do you get any benefits though from being a former major league player? I don't get any. I don't get any benefits at all. All my benefits went away the day I was released. So, all right, everybody. We need 5 more likes to get to 300. So, could you guys give me, if you have not given a like yet to this video, do you mind? Bicep tendonitis, yeah, I have seen players with that, and I know it is painful, and it can be very debilitating and tough to throw with. So definitely rest that up. Thank you, everyone. We're up to 330 almost likes. Thank you for getting us there. Paul Bennett, thank you so much for Super Chat. Thoughts on phytons and other metal necklaces? Do they work? Do you wear any jewelry? Who wore the most during a game? Are there rules? So I have a few fight necklaces. They used to give them out to our teams. When you showed up in spring training, you'd have them in your locker. I don't know if they ever worked. I wear them, not so much because I thought they worked, but just because I guess they were, not so much I thought they were like cool or anything, but I don't know, they were in my locker, so I put them on. I don't wear any jewelry anymore. I wore a necklace when I played. And who wore the most during a game? That's a good question. No one stands out that wore the most. And are there rules for jewelry? Usually necklaces were fine. I don't remember anyone getting yelled at for necklaces. Earrings had to be taken out for most teams that I played for. I think that's pretty much it. If your shoulder feels like it's going to tear and it stings, you should go get that checked out. I do not know what that is. Maybe it's tendonitis, but it could be something worse. Do I have a chance of playing pro ball? I throw 83 to 87 as a JUCO freshman, 6'6", 170. Well, you're really tall and really skinny. And so where you're throwing right now, velocity-wise, you have to throw a lot harder than that. But there's first, I think with your body, there's probably a lot of room in there to get bigger and stronger and throw harder. And so you're very young. So just keep working hard. Lots of players make big jumps, and I've seen players go up you know, I always, hey, look at this. I'm on YouTube, so I just looked over here. I'm watching, well, I was watching this earlier about the NFL draft, and then over here on the right, there's all these recommended videos, and then there I am right there, live, answering your questions. Antonelli Baseball, live now. Interesting. All right, Antonelli for commissioner. Yeah, Frankie, that's what I'm talking about. We got a super chat from RC from the NYC. What's up, Matt? Hey, Laura. What's up, Chad? Hope everyone is good. Have you seen or heard of the new rules being used in the minors this season? RC. So I've been asked about this a lot tonight, and I was sent them, but I haven't gone through all of them. I know that the bigger bases and a number of pickoffs, and so. But I got to get through this list because I don't know of everything. But I'm going to make a video on this probably tomorrow morning maybe. I'll go through everything and make a video for you. Camden Parker, thank you so much for Super Chat. Who hits 3-hole on your 14U team? So we have two 14U teams. And who hits 3-hole? Well, we haven't started the season, so I don't know who's going to. I'll tell you who hit 3-hole last year. Oh, let's see. So last year would have been our 13-year-old team, which is now a 14-year-old team. I think James Willett hit 3-hole, I believe. And then on the other team, who hit 3-hole? Chris D'Angelo, I think, hit 3-hole on the other team. Would I rather hit 250 with 35 homers or 400 but mostly singles? So that means I'm going to hit 400 with 0 home runs. I'll take the 35 dingers. Bitcoin will crash eventually. I'd sell soon. It could. So it's tough to say when it will crash or if it will crash. I mean, I've had a lot of people tell me for instance, with Apple stock. A lot of people told me for a long time, like, you got to sell, dude. You're up. You got to sell. Like, it can't go any higher. Back when it was like a $500 billion company, a lot of people were telling me, like, get out now. You can't. They're never going to get be a bigger company, $500 billion. And now, we're at over $2 trillion. So Bitcoin could crash tomorrow. Or it could not. Why did I get released? I got released because I wasn't playing well. I was also injured a lot. Matt, any advice for a small baseball YouTuber? Yeah, have fun with it. Put up videos that you enjoy. Talk about things that you enjoy. Don't try to just put up things that you think are going to get likes or views, because then it'll be kind of boring. So, my strategy's always been just put up stuff I want to put up and stuff that I enjoy. And hopefully I'm interesting in some way, and people will enjoy the videos and they'll watch them. But just have fun. Do I have any bobbleheads? I don't think I have any bobbleheads, no. Can you get a shout out? Sure thing, Rex. Shout out to Rex. Ichiro, top 10 greatest hitters. Ichiro's a great hitter. I don't know where he falls in the top hitters of all time, but he is a great hitter. Best way to create timing? I think the best way to create timing is, timing is an interesting topic, and it's we could talk for a long time about timing. So some of timing is when you're going to get your load started, like getting in sync with the pitcher. And so I've got to be able to get my body in sync with the pitcher so that I'm ready to hit on time. So that's part of it. Timing also for me is the path of your swing. And so the more that I can get, the more that I can get my barrel on path with the ball, get my barrel in the hitting zone and from the inside, well, the better chance I have of giving myself to increase my timing or improve my timing. And so, yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. I'm rooting for, I'd love to see the Padres do well this year. I can't say I'm rooting for either team, but I would like to see the Padres do well. How far can the average MLB player long toss? I don't know. Because most MLB players aren't going to get out there and throw the ball as far as they possibly can in long toss. So it's tough to say. Hey, Abraham, thank you so much for the super chat. I just watched a documentary on the 2002 World Series champs, Anaheim Angels. Any thoughts on that team? That was my favorite baseball team of all time. So one of my buddies was actually on that team, Sean Wooten. He was a teammate of mine, and then we ended up owning a baseball facility together. And Sean was one of my teammates slash coaches who taught me a lot about hitting. And so, yeah, he was on that team. And other than that, I mean, I remember watching those games. This is a really solid team. I wasn't a big fan of them at the time, but I was a Red Sox fan back then. I think Yelich should have a comeback year, yeah. Softball program, Jamie. So, I don't know, maybe. A lot of people ask us to start a softball program, and I've been working with more and more, as you know, I've been working with more and more softball players. Over the last few years, I'd always worked with softball players, but I've always been more of a baseball instructor. But over the last year or so, I've worked with way more softball players. And so I'm not sure. I've gotten a lot of requests from parents and from players to do more softball stuff. I do so much baseball stuff right now. Like our program is getting, we're at the point now where our baseball program could probably be even much bigger, but you know, I don't want to make it too big. And so trying to decide what we could do in softball, but I'll give you an update when I have one. Abraham, thank you again for the super chat. Shout outs to the Woot Dog. I remember Sean, and don't listen to these guys, Matt. Bitcoin will never crash. Well, thank you for your insight. And yeah, Sean was, I think he mostly DH'd that year. You know, he caught a little bit. He played a little bit of infield, but he was more known as a hitter. A very good hitting mind, like, really got me into hitting. Gave me like the fundamentals. He was the first, let's just say this, he was one of the first coaches I ever had that talked about hitting in a way that I'd never seen it before. Most coaches were always just like, every coach I ever had, or almost every coach I ever had, was just very simple, like, you know, stay inside the ball and stay above the ball and backspin the ball and all those things. The things that like every hitting coach says, and it's like, you know, you know, I don't know. But then I started struggling. And just telling me like, hey, stay inside the ball. And I'd be like, I'm trying to stay inside the ball. And they'd be like, well, stay inside it more. And I'd be like, I'm trying to stay inside it more. I can't. And they're like, well, just try it some more. Like that stuff. He was the first coach that was like, dude, like this is what staying inside the ball means. And this is how you try to do it. And so I learned a lot from him. And he really got me into it. He was one of the first coaches that made me realize how important hitting mechanics really were. So many people are afraid to get like, oh, hold on one second. Nicholas Peters, thank you so much for super chat. Hey Matt, love the videos. Thoughts on Torrey Hunter? Torrey Hunter was awesome. Great player. Super athlete. I mean, I really enjoyed watching him. I don't know him personally. Never really talked to him before, but great player. You know, so many people, getting back on the subject real quick, when it comes to hitting mechanics, so many people will just quickly be like, yeah, it's mental, you know, it's not your swing, it's all in your head, or it's about your timing or your approach, and some of that stuff can be true, but oftentimes it's like, it is about mechanics. Like, mechanics are huge. If you have a bad swing, you can't be a good player. Like, it's hard to be a good player. And just because you have a good swing one day or 1 month or 1 year doesn't mean you're always going to have a good swing. And, you know, when I started struggling, I always hit well my whole life. And then all of a sudden when I was like 3 years old, my swing I fell apart one year. And everyone was so afraid to tell, like, no one wanted to say, like, yeah, your swing stinks. Everyone wanted to blame it on all these other things, and Sean was the first person to be like, dude, your swing stinks. And if you keep swinging like that, you're never going to hit again. And he was the first person to tell me why it stunk and how to fix it and all that stuff. So he was really good. What do you need to do to start a travel ball team? It's rather easy actually. I started a travel ball team with no experience or anything. I just came up with a name and well, just try harder. That's a good one too. And then I just found players to play for us. That was really it. Started small, started with a couple of teams, and then just built up from there. And then we did a good job with. I say we did a good job teaching and really caring about the players, and then the word spread pretty quickly. How do I convince a head coach that defense matters? Well, it's hard to convince people of stuff. That might be difficult. I wish I had an answer for you. Should you go to Boston or Denver for a weekend trip? Well, it depends, I guess, what you want to do. Denver's great. I've been to Denver. Boston's great as well. So I don't know. Go to both. Cool. Thank you so much for the super chat, and go Rays. Hey Matt, fan of your videos here. Do you have any suggestions to help the overthinking at the plate and the mental side of the game? Yeah, to get rid of overthinking, one thing you can try is having a swing thought that is simple, that you can go to kind of clear your mind of everything else, of everything. So what my approach is to the plate, I have a routine at the plate, and what I like to do, I'll go through it real quick with you. All right, yours doesn't have to be like this, but this is what I do. So I step into the box, right? I put my right foot in the box. I take a deep breath in through my nose, and then I let it out through my mouth, and I do it slow. I did a little faster there because I don't want to bore you. And while I'm doing that, I look at what I call focal points. So I find something on my bat. Usually it's like the label of my bat. So I look at that when I'm taking my breath. That kind of brings me to the present. The breathing through my nose kind of slows my heart rate down and just calms me. And now I feel like I'm not thinking of 1,000 things. I'm just kind of here. I'm in the batter's box. I'm ready to go. Now I step in. I go through kind of like my pre-pitch is just kind of wiggle the bat like this. And then I'm going to set my hands up like, I get my stance. And at that point, I think of a final thought. So it's just like something very simple that I can think of, that I'm not thinking of like 1,000 different things. My last at bat, my next at bat, this pitcher's so awesome. I can't hit this guy. I stink, all that stuff. And so it can be very simple, like, quick hands, or it could be like short to the ball, or you can combine those and be short and quick. And so as I'm getting ready, I'm literally like, let's just say I'm thinking quick hands. So I'll get ready and I'll just be thinking like, as the pitcher goes into his windup, I'm thinking like quick hands, quick hands, quick hands. There's something simple. And if you pick out something, then you'll focus on that. And you want it to be something that'll help you get a hit or help you hit the ball hard. And so it's impossible. It's impossible to just shut your brain off. Some people say, "Hey, stop thinking so much." Well, like, everyone's gonna think of stuff. It's impossible to get up there and say, "Turn your brain off and don't think." So what you do is you think of something helpful, useful, and so that's where quick hands or short and quick or whatever can help you think of that instead of 1,000 different things. So those would be just some of my advice. Never looked at where the catcher's set up, no. You want to be careful with peeking back at the catcher. Pitchers and catchers don't like that. And so you could be hit if you look back there. Now sometimes you can hear the catcher move. And sometimes, depending on what time of day it is and how the sun's setting, you might be able to see a shadow on the ground where he's setting up. Depends what level you're at too. Just because a guy sets up in, especially at a lower level, doesn't mean the ball's going to be in. If he sets up in, you do know that he's probably throwing something hard. He's not throwing an off-speed pitch, but I've been hearing people say to hit the ball out as out in front as you can. I mean, I wouldn't try to hit the ball out as far as I can. I do think, I mean, it's not my opinion. Damage is done out in front of the plate. So, yes, contact is going to be made slightly out in front of the plate. But I don't want to, like, try to fight to get out there and hit it. So, I still try to teach having a barrel that turns deep and gets in the zone early. And then if I catch the ball out in front, like, yeah, again, if I'm 2-0, if I'm ahead in the count, you know, I'm looking for a fastball, something that I can catch out front a little bit and drive. But I'm not trying to hit the ball out as far as I can. All right, everyone. This has been a good night of questions. We've gotten so many of them. We've been on here for 76 minutes talking and answering questions. So could everyone do me one more favor? Could everyone, thank you, Maverick, for the super chat. No question there, but thank you. Could everyone give the video a like one more time? Maybe we can get the 400 likes. That'd be great if we get the we're at 360 right now. Can we get the 400 likes? Funniest moment from my playing days? Man, there's a lot of funny moments. I've made a lot of videos on that. I don't even know. Probably has something to do with Brian Giles. He was very funny. Is 5'10", 165 too small for D1? No, it's not too small. It makes it tougher. The smaller you are, the tougher it is to get recruited, but it doesn't mean that you can't play D1. Dirk Hayhurst story. Yeah, basically after any surgery, there's going to be rehab they go through. I never tore my labrum, but I've seen a lot of players tear their labrums, and I've seen them go through rehab. There's a lot of rehab. It's like an extensive rehab program to go through. So yes, best way to get to MLB as a D3 player. I don't think there's any different way for you than someone else. You just got to be good enough. So you're not going to do anything extra. You're just going to have to be really good and maybe even better than some of the D1 guys because they may get the benefit of the doubt because they're at the D1 level. But you don't have to do anything special. Thoughts on investing in baseball cards? So I've invested in a bunch of sports cards and have done really well with it. I would say basketball has been I've been most, I don't want to call it lucky, but basketball has done me the most good as far as investing in cards. And then probably, well, baseball and football are probably up there close in second place. Nicholas Peters, thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, stoked for the new MLB The Show. I am. I haven't played I've told you guys I recently moved, and so we don't have our whole house set up yet. I'm waiting for the basement to get finished. That'll kind of be where I will end up playing a lot of MLB The Show once we get that done. D1 is a high school dream, but what is a realistic approach to play college ball? Well, the approach is to be proactive and this could take a long time to go through right now. Do me a favor. Go to our playlist and go to college recruiting. I have a college recruiting playlist on our YouTube channel, and it's going to tell you all the things that I could tell you. I could give you a 1-2 minute spiel, but it's not going to really be helpful as much as looking at that playlist. Go do that tonight when you go to bed. Just go through the whole playlist. Maverick Waterman, thank you for the super chat. Our ground ball is easier in MLB with better fields. So yeah, the fields are much better, but the balls also hit much harder. So you won't get as many bad hops, but balls are hit really hard at the big league level, like consistently hard. Like when you're younger, you'll get some ground balls that are just like these easy, just nice, easy ground balls. You don't get that very much in the big leagues. You will get some, but you're going to get a lot more balls that are smoked at you. Yeah, like you got Stanton hitting ground balls, or like, hardest ground ball I ever got hit at me was probably by Josh Hamilton. Like, those are just grown men hitting, I mean, rocket shot ground balls at you. Josh Hamilton hit a ball so hard at me, like literally, it was a ground ball and I could barely move. Aramis Ramirez hit me a really hard one too, but all right, everybody. So, thank you so much for all your questions. We'll do this again. I've been trying to do this once a week, and so I've been mostly doing Saturday nights because I have baseball throughout the week, and so I don't get home till very late. Saturday, I have baseball early, and I get out around like 5, 6 p.m. usually, and so that's why I'm able to do these on Saturday nights. But thank you again for everyone for your questions and for your super chats and for your likes. So I'm going to take off. Everyone hit the like button again one more time. See if we can get 400 likes. But that's all we have. Stay tuned tomorrow. I'm going to put a video up tomorrow morning. Actually, I told you guys, my dad got hit in the face today with a ball. I'm going to put a video up of that. It was a close call, like honestly. He could have been very badly hurt, and luckily he wasn't. Just had kind of like a... Well, we'll see tomorrow when he wakes up. Maybe he'll have a black eye. I don't know. But anyways, we need 6 more likes for 400. Everyone, hit the like button. And Frankie, didn't I give you a shout out before? Now you're telling people not to hit the like button? That's messed up. We need one more. Bye, Morgan. We got 400 likes. Take that, Preston, or whoever you are. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great night. We'll talk to you later.